So you've been a B2B service provider for some years and you've gotten the hang of things. You're becoming an expert in your field, or you're already an expert in your field, and you know how to deliver the key results that your clients are looking for. What's next? Too often, life becomes monotonous. We get into our career, we get good at it, and we just roll with the expectations of our peers and our employers, and even ourselves to a degree. But deep, deep inside, and maybe you're like me and you don't have to go that deep for this, but you want a whole lot more. And you're trying to figure out, okay, what titles, what roles do I need to work into get more? And, I went down this path and I wasted a lot of time on this path. So, like, for me, I was like, okay, I can roll into chief marketing officer or like head of paid traffic or like chief revenue officer. And like, that's how I can roll my skills into it. And I can go from making 72K a year to like 150, 200K a year. And the reason why I say I wasted a lot of time there is like, I then like went into a mind frame that I'm sure you're familiar with of like, okay, this new position that I'm interviewing for, like, what skills do I need to have to be able to get the position? Okay, check, check, check. I have these skills. I have most of these. Maybe I don't have some. And then what do I need to do to be a desirable candidate for people hiring in this position? And that is where things kind of fall apart, at least when I was on the job market, because they want you to have all of this like super deep specific experience. And like the reality of it is, and this is by design, most people aren't suited for those roles that are being posted and opened at companies that are specialized roles that use your unique skills. Now, if you stumble across one, that's great. But most of the time, like, especially if you're kind of a generalist like me, who are looking for people who have very specific experience in that industry, or even worse, a specific time frame. Some companies really care about how long you've been doing this and how big of a team you managed and this, that, and the third. And so then that forces you into thinking, oh, well, like, I only have been managing a team for a year. They want 4 years of managing a team. So I got to stay in this role or another team management role for another 3 years, which means I don't have any growth for another 3 years or I have minimal growth. And I'm here to tell you that everything I described, that path is not the only way. It's what we've been conditioned to think because we've been conditioned to search for jobs, right? And even in the world of business, like most entrepreneurs and most small business owners operate as if they are working at a job. And that's just because that's how we've been conditioned to behave. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a silver lining here, and it lies in the unknown. The unknown to people like me, maybe to people like you, but jobs aren't the only way to look at something. Right? Like, well, this person's hiring me to do this work, so I need to go sit behind this computer or pick up a hammer and like complete this work. You need to deliver outcomes. I'm not going to leave it there because I too get annoyed when people say big things like that, but don't explain what that actually means. You need to deliver outcomes. That means you're just responsible for the outcome. For example, let's say that a company is in need of email marketing service. You can approach it like a job, still as a business owner or an independent contractor or an employee, and you can approach it as a job and say, okay, you need emails done. I'll do your emails. Now, the other frame of mind that I want you to think of, this is that silver lining I was talking about, is thinking of things like an investor, okay? And thinking of your expertise as the capital being invested. This is how you bypass all of those barriers to entry to the positions that pay you what you're worth. So same company needs email marketing done. Instead of saying, I'll do your emails, here's what it looks like when you work for an outcome. If the company needs email marketing done and they're soliciting you, then you can say, okay, let's do email marketing to accomplish the goal of selling out. I actually just had a conversation with someone about this. Like, let's use your email list to accomplish the goal of selling out of all of your products on your launch in August. And what I'd be doing differently, which is selling the outcome, is like, number one, you're not just paying me to do your email marketing, you're paying me for a specific outcome to sell out all of your products on your launch. Number two, I'm not going to be the one writing all the emails. I might not even be the one coming up with the strategy. I'm going to structure a deal that allows me to put other people who are better than me or just as good as me to run that, to do that, to do the actual work. And that minor shift is the shift between approaching your business as a job and approaching your business as like a true business owner. we take it one more level to get it to being an investor. And the differentiator for approaching business and work as an investor is like you have to get something in exchange to, and this is the capital you're investing in order to earn what you're getting, right? So like, what are you going to get for the capital you're investing? For me, the only way to go about it if you're an investor is to get some sort of equity, some sort of share in the money that you're helping create. And so instead of saying, hey, I'm just going to take on this project for $5,000 and then pay out $2,000 to my guys to execute it, and I take home $3,000 and then move on to the next project, which you could do that, but like, why would you when you have another option to say, hey, I will consistently invest my expertise capital in your business to keep this thing growing, to make it more sophisticated, to keep the quality of it steady, and to deploy my expertise to make sure that this turns out well for you. You can still have other people do the work. You just kind of lead the ship. And in exchange, you get equity. Maybe it's 3%, maybe it's 30%, maybe it's 50%. It all depends on the deal and the position of the business owner. But for me, that's what I see as next beyond service work is like there's value in upskilling and becoming better at your craft. And I will never try to detract you from that because I think that is extremely valuable and that's your intellectual property, right? But you can only unlock the next level of income if you do all of that is like, now we're into gray area because to a degree, that's true. Like my skills today are only going to generate a certain amount. Like it hits a ceiling before I need to learn new things. But what a lot of people will do is they'll accept the average, which the average is always going to be a lot lower than the maximum just because the average isn't based off of the real pay scale. The average like salary or contract is getting paid off of what everybody else is charging. So like it's not even a true average, but the point is like you're doing this work for $72,000 a year or $5,000 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever your price point is. You're doing that because that's what you have been conditioned to like see as acceptable. But you could have a whole lot more income by owning a piece of the companies that you work with and deploying the same level of skills that you have now. I still think you should improve because that'll just increase what the max is, but you'll be able to hit the max of your current level just by placing like an ownership stake in the agreements that you make. And so like where my skills max me out at like $72,000 a year before, now they max me out at probably like a couple million a year. I haven't hit it yet, so I've yet to see the max, but like I can imagine like, okay, if I just do this, this, and this, then I'll just double this, triple that. Like, you know what I mean? And if you don't know what I mean, I'm saying like with my current skills, I can expect a certain level of pay from each business deal that I do. And if I do this many business deals in this amount of time frame, then I'll make this amount of money in this time frame. Does that make sense? So I haven't had to go like through the 5 to 10 year process of being qualified to apply for and get a job for something that's going to pay me double. I can take advantage of the maximum payment opportunities at my current level just by changing my agreements and just by reconsidering how I approach a deal, which is as an investor, which is, hey, I want ownership stake in this. I want dividends. I want to be able to get a payout when there's an exit for this company, if there's an exit for this company. And yeah, it's just life has been a lot better that way. I work with less clients now, but I make 5 times the money. And it also gives me the opportunity to farm out the work to people who are better than me comfortably, like while maintaining my lifestyle, which is very mid, by the way. I don't have an exciting lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, that's what's next beyond service work is like you have to elevate to investor to get to that next level. If not, you're going to be in a very mid rewarding like place in your career for a really long time until you make that transition. And if you never make that transition, then like probably forever. And it makes it a lot harder to remove yourself from it. Like I know someone who is an amazing copywriter, right? And all I ever hear is that she feels stuck. Your retainers are really high. You've done that. That's cool. And you have clients coming in. So that's cool. But she feels stuck because even with a high retainer and clients coming in, you can only do so much work yourself. And you are limiting yourself on the upside potential while the business that you're helping has an unlimited upside potential from you being involved. So like at least increase your limit, right? Fixed limit, make it a variable limit. So that's my opinion on that. That is what is current and next for me is just to continue approaching my service through the lens of an investor because that has paid off a ton for me. And I hope you can see the same route for yourself.